What's up, y'all? You know who it is. It's your boy, Big Tank Hank. Coming at you with another live stream, and we're in the Aqua shop, and we're open for business. Today's show, we have a very, very, very cool, eclectic young man. I think he'd like for me to call him young man. Coming on. With wealth of knowledge, great imagination when it comes to, putting these things together, as well as, knowledge in general in regards to this fish hobby. Shawn Peck. Name of the channel is PECKTEC, and we're going to find out where PECKTEC comes from and where Shawn comes from. So without further ado, again, let me turn that volume down so it doesn't interrupt us. Without further ado, let me bring in Shawn PECKTEC. There we go.
Here's my little pecs.
We're gonna be showing
board game things on my pecs.
What's happening, man? What's happening?
You know, when I first started, people used to ask me if I was like a workout guru. Because of the PECKTEC.
PECKTEC, right?
Yeah, I just specialize in that one area. So I'm growing them a little different than you probably expect.
Hey, I hear you. Just be good at it, Oh, my goodness.
So how are you doing today?
Oh, man. I'm doing real good. After my little old, health scare. I know I made that sound more dramatic than it actually was, but it was to me at the time.
Hey, they're scary.
Hey, everybody that's watching the rerun, thank you for coming. And so that let me get it out of the way early, guys. I was hungry and I was dehydrated. Turns out that's what my problem was. But at the time, I thought I was about to die and go to the pearly gates. No, I'm exaggerating. But yeah, I was very uncomfortable though, and there was no way I could stream. And it was crazy that it was on a Father Fish night. Yeah, I know. I know. But I talked to him and he said we gonna still have to get together, so he's gonna still come on, y'all. So don't be mad at me. Don't be mad.
How's he doing? How'd he take it?
Oh, he took it pretty good, man. He put it, he say, I'm an old guy. I'm retired. I don't have nothing else to do but be up all night, so I'm going to go ahead and go live. And he did. He just went ahead and went live on his channel.
I interviewed Father Fish a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to be one of my guests on the Water Change Companion. What a neat guy. Yeah, he's an interesting fella. I've been meaning to talk to him for a long time, just because I used to watch, I'd work out and I'd listen to his show, his morning show and stuff quite a bit, and I thought it was kind of fun to lurk around in there.
Right. Yeah, he brought me up one morning, a Sunday morning, or was it a Saturday morning? Sunday morning. Well, he brought me up one morning. I'm like, hey, gave me a blue wrench. I thought I was doing something. I'm on Father Fish show. So when I had the chance to get him home, and I had to jump on it, and I got to make sure I go back and do that. Let's see who we got showing up here today. Lance Jones, what's going on? I saw Mary Page was in here earlier, but I think she ducked back out. Muppet 929, Aqua Balls, what's going on? What's going on? Chubbs, what's happening, man? What's going on? So, Shawn, man,
yes.
give us a little old rundown of who Shawn is. We're gonna get to PECKTEC later.
So I live in Tennessee. I've lived here most of my life, but I've moved around a lot. I lived in Atlanta for a while. I lived in Maine for a really brief amount of time, and Georgia. Both Atlanta and Columbus, Georgia. And then, so I don't know. I've lived in the South most of my life, and I really love the climate.
Hey, right?
I gotta say, it's like I like having seasons, and getting close to the mountains and stuff like that are really nice. I've worked. I've had a number of professions. Like I was a photographer for a long time. That's where I met my wife. Is doing packaging photography for Philips Consumer Electronics, and then they moved their company to Atlanta, but they didn't want to take a photography studio. So Holly and I got married, had a baby, like all in the period of time while all our jobs. We both worked there, and we were both about to get laid. Yeah, and then so we started a business. Well, I was like, well, they gave us a really great deal. To be fair, I mean, our old boss gave us a really great deal on the photo gear. And so we took all the photo gear, everything that was already paid for is like you take it, and then you get first bid on anything they still owed money on. So they just put this list together, and we would just, we did an open bid with all the people in the company, but they didn't know what any of that stuff was. And I used it every day, right? And they had like really nice Sinar cameras, like really, really nice cameras and stuff for the time. Now, this is film, okay?
Gotcha.
For the younger folks, there used to be a process whereby you got your pictures, and it was not instantaneous.
Develop? What do you mean?
It's like there was a time where you didn't know if you'd even accomplished anything until like the next day. So anyway, so I got all this camera gear, and I went out and I started a photography studio, and but it wasn't doing too great because it didn't have a lot of clients. I'd only had like 1 or 2 clients that I'd worked for within a corporation, So we did a little bit of real estate stuff. I had very little weddings because I hate weddings. I really do. And I mean, I just don't like to photograph them. I don't mind attending them or whatever. That's great. But I don't want to be involved in their planning in any way.
I hear you.
But anyway, I became a PI, so I was a private investigator and a photographer. So I set up a company called Southern Exposure, and just so I could only have one card, but I just like being both things to whoever I handed the card.
Hey, but makes sense though.
Yeah,
makes sense.
So I did that until I decided that was not a healthy job, and then I got into IT, and so I've been doing IT ever since, and that's what I do as a trade outside of fish and YouTube and stuff.
Okay. Thank you for dropping by though, Elizabeth. Jeffrey Watts, what's going on? But man, you did run the gamut though. I mean, I thought, I've had 49. I've probably had 40 jobs. Now that's not in the last.
You're 49? I am too.
49.
Okay. 49 club.
We're gonna have to get some shirts. Get some shirts.
What is your birthday?
Stream. April 6th.
Okay. So you're just now 49. I've been 49 a while. Mine's in August. I'll be 50.
Oh, it's over. Oh, my fault.
I know you're feeling it too, though. I mean, you get past 49, you're like, really? This is all of my 40s right now?
For real. Can I go
There's
back?
There's supposed to be more boats and stuff.
For real. Can I go back a little bit? Horsepower is not where I thought it was going to be.
I thought there would be less napping.
Oh, man. Don't speak on the napping. And look, and this is somebody who I work all night long. So, I have some days, like especially my Fridays. My Fridays are sometimes my actual Fridays or sometimes not. Hey, y'all, it can be confusing when you work nights. But I'm usually awake 24, 26, 27 hours, on my Fridays. Like, it's kind of what happened to me yesterday. And I think I just crashed. My body was like, no.
That's a long time. Yeah, that's a long time, especially to have to have stress and be awake that long. The combination is tough. You're gonna get on the internet and perform it. Ah,
yeah, right.
I've just spent an entire day awake and walked home. Yeah,
with no food or water.
Yeah.
Woo, man, the adult life.
Oh,
if there's any kids watching this, stay young. Stay little people. Don't rush it. Unless you buy, like some stock in one of these, internet things, and then you get rich early. Then it's okay. But other than that, no.
I don't know about you, Hank, but like when I was young, when I was like in my 20s, let's say, we'll call that young, right? I was, I never expected to live like to my 30s. I thought it was, I'm so crazy. I'm just probably, I don't think I'll even make it. And like every day after the 30s, I'm like, oh, I guess I should have played it a little bit more.
Hey, no, I thought I was going to be here, but I still didn't plan though. Everything was just going to be waiting on me when I got there,
Yeah. You wake up and you're like, oh, it's all planned out just perfect. Wow, it's weird.
No. Yeah, it didn't work out quite like that. But it's okay, I have a lot of stories, that I can tell my kids. I have a lot of stories.
How long have you been keeping your tanks?
Man, in this state, the 2 years I've been on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, it was just like, here's a bowl. I got some rocks. Maybe a pothos hanging over the side. I didn't do nothing close to trying to escape and have it look, nice and attractive like at all. I may have had pink rocks and blue rocks. I despise them now, but then it didn't matter. It didn't matter then,
I'll tell you what. It's a fun secret that a lot of people don't know, but if you want to have more aquariums, you just start a YouTube channel about them. And you will find yourself making aquariums all the time.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because what else is there to do? Like, we could talk about like, there's different types of fish to talk about. There's and products and stuff. And my channel, that's I like to open boxes and show people what's inside. I mean, that's what I do. And it's like I've gone from a review, like I don't call them reviews anymore, at least in the past few years. We'll put it that way. But for the most part, I'll open a box and kind of give you my first impressions about it. And if I find some place to put it, then I'll go implement it, and there'll be an install video too. And so I kind of do this in the board game YouTube world. They call them previews, because they can't really give a review on it. It's not a final product necessarily. You know what I mean? It's just like your first impression. So
yeah.
I mean, how many in 2 years? Like, how many hang on the back filters have you opened or spun? Whatever your preferred filtration is. It's like,
yeah, right.
You end up handling the same kind of things a lot. So you can tell if it's junk right out of the box. Sometimes.
Before you get it out of the box, it's already rattling.
Right.
All right, Casual Aquatics. You'll be good. He's going to go on an adventure. I had an adventure yesterday, Casual. You enjoy. I don't want it to end like mine. Make sure you have the proper lug nut wrench, for your wheels.
So was it a special one that like would only come with your particular type of wheel?
You buy the wheel locks, so nobody's steal them. But I bought the car used.
Uh-huh.
So the wheels were already on it,
and the key is somewhere, right?
I remember, because I worked in the auto business for 15 years. I was a technician. Yeah? I was a technician. I was a service manager. I was all over. I swept floors at the very beginning. I parked cars. So I almost hit every spot, on a dealership. So I knew. I looked for the jack, found it. Spare tire, see what kind it was, what size, found it. But the wheels were literally so ugly. They're aftermarket, but I didn't think of them as aftermarket.
Yeah.
So I didn't look to see if there were locks on it, because I'm like, who's going to steal them? I mean, when they were new, I guess somebody would have, but Bob
but you weren't even paying attention to the fact that there might be a key for it or anything.
Yep, I didn't pay no attention. 3 years later, 3 years later, I can say I might need to do a commercial for the brand of tires it's on, because it's 3 years and these tires still look good. I had to run over something for that one to go flat, but I kneel down there and look. Oh my God, I don't have. Oh no, no, this is not. No, it's not happening. No. And then you look everywhere, and then people tell you to look again in the places you've already looked. My fish tank aquatics, what's going on? But yeah, that wasn't my special moment. What got you into? Because I mean, you done ran the gamut, as far as your professions, and none of those had anything to do with fish tanks.
Nope. No, I guess so. I had a fish tank as a little kid. I don't remember. And then in high school, the things I did to those fish are probably terrible. So I was high schooler. I had a little 8-gallon tank and tried to put a bunch of fish in it. I'm like, why did they all die? There's no internet, okay? That's what tell me. Is like,
yes.
So later on, I read, but I guess it was maybe 15, 20 years ago or so. My wife got me a fish tank like for Easter.
Easter fish tank?
Yeah. I just wanted an excuse to have a fish tank. Like, oh, you buy me that for Easter? Like, okay. You want me to put an egg in it or something? Yeah, that's right.
Buddy.
So I got it was just a little 6-gallon tank. It was but it was one of those it was a Marineland clone. So it had a bio wheel in it and stuff, but they would sell it under like Rena, I think is what they called it. They're at Walmart.
Okay.
And it was a Marineland. They had these really cool tanks that were all these little hidden bio wheel thing. They'd have like an above tank filter. So the water would come up and it would go over and then go through a bio wheel on the way out.
Okay.
And they used to
still have that.
Yeah, well, there's probably some around still, but I had all these Eclipse tanks and stuff. They were my favorite. I just thought that whole mechanism was really cool. So that's the way I did. I got one tank and then I too many fish, so I got another tank. And at that time, I was reading and I started just I went to the used bookstore and just got every book, on keeping aquariums and stuff and read them all. And that's how I learned about aquariums. And then I actually got into podcasts. And so there was a podcast called Pet Fish Talk. And these two old dudes in California. And one would interrupt the other one like constantly. And the other one was like a marine biologist. And the dude that just talked a lot was just his brother, who knew a lot of stuff about fish. But still, I mean, it's like, I want to hear that your brother has to say. But anyway, but I listened to that Pet Fish Talk. And that's where I learned, I feel like my learning accelerated a lot. And then I started looking at plants because I wanted to do less water changes. Like I literally, that was the goal, is not to look good or aquascape or anything. I was like, I want to do less water changes. So planted tanks, I hear they help a lot. So I started looking into that and from there, it just kind of like I love miniature things. Like I like making. I paint models like a 13-year-old. I paint them all the time, like a lot. Like it's a problem. I love doing that, and so I love miniature landscapes and stuff. So when I look at my tanks, I like to. They're like they're like little scenics, that I almost like a miniature stage or something like that. So that's how I think about it. I like a lot of different fish. I'm really into tiny fish, like nano fish. You like little fish too, don't you?
Yep.
I do. That's how I came to by Rachel Leary. And once I got on her channel, I just kind of went nuts with just like all the tiny fish I could find. Anything that's like under 4 inches that's come through our store, I probably tried to keep it. Like, you can live in here. I made a little colony. And sometimes they do good. Sometimes it's like they do okay. But,
Hey, learning as we go. And see, that's the thing about it. See, and it sounds to me like yours is more of since you already had the photographer's eye, and you create that palette and then the little fish can fit in it without disturbing it. Adding real life. Adding another dimension. To what you've already created. And I mean, I'm right there with you. I can feel that.
Well, it's interesting to think about like the bio load, like so now it's like, how can I have 15 of those and like not have to work all the time? Because that's what everybody says is like, how many tanks do you have? And I'll be like, oh, about 15. And they're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you don't understand. I know people with hundreds
Ooh,
of
yes.
aquariums
Yes.
and stuff, and they don't have them planted and stuff. So they got to do the water changes and so I don't know. I think it's funny, but it still is a lot of work because like the plants have their own kind of maintenance to do aside from anything else. And you don't always have it balanced. Sometimes it takes like a year or two to get a tank to where it's just right, like just the amount, and then that fish dies and it's all gone and you got to start or something happens, the balance goes away again and there's it's algae everywhere. But, it's fun to just try to achieve that balance. That's what I go for. And I want to, I want to do a water change because I've started doing more water tests and water changes. And I found that I can go probably about once a month on all my tanks. So I have an upstairs week and a downstairs week. So all my tanks upstairs get it 1 week and and then the next week they go to the downstairs and then I wait for, till the next month. So it's working out pretty good.
Yeah, most definitely. What happens to me, I always have that disappearing fish situation where I may actually have 2 or so disappear before I really notice. I'm sitting there like, hold on. Then it's like, oh my God, okay. Now, it's off to the races because I know I don't see them. They're in there somewhere. Everything is about to go catawampus. It's coming.
Especially when they feel like they're too big to hide. Like, where are they? They're in here somewhere. Can't find them. They're not anywhere.
Ooh, then you tear it up and it shows up later on.
I found a fish today in a weird place. I found one. I've got some of my Mega Flex, the long fluval flex. I put a surface skimmer in the back, and I was doing my water change today, and I brought the water down below the surface skimmer. And I hear it flapping around in there, like I hear the surface skimmer just like making this rattling sound. I was like, I turned the motor, it's unplugged, and I looked at it, it's unplugged. What's going on in there? And I looked, and there's a big fish in there. I'm like, how long have you been in there?
How did it get in there?
I don't know. I mean, everything seemed to be working correctly with it. So I was like, man, I hope you haven't been in there. I mean, it came out and he just swam away. So
that's a surface skimmer on a freshwater tank?
Yeah. It was, for some reason, a lot of those tanks with a filter in the back, like I tend to get the Flexes and the Specs and all those tanks like that with a built-in filter. They all seem to get some kind of surface film.
Okay.
And I don't know why they get that more than other tanks that I have. Like, I guess it appears to have a mechanism to kind of take care of that. Like, it's got like a weird kind of top. It's also got a little hole at the bottom. And I think most of the water that goes through your filter probably comes through that little hole in the bottom and not so much at the top where it'd be like spilling over. But if you plug that hole,
ginger.
Hey, but if you plug that little hole, then the safety's gone. Like, you'll run your pump dry too quick. So.
Oh, okay. That's crazy. But yeah, it was kind of strange. But I'm like, man, I don't know too many people. I hadn't heard of too many people with the surface skimmer I thought maybe it was for your duckweed,
It's great for that. But I tell you what, I heard a podcast with Diana Wallstand, and she doesn't do interviews. I asked her to do an interview, and she politely declined because she just doesn't enjoy those. But she did a podcast interview with these folks, and she talked about like fish leukemia and stuff, which is kind of this mysterious thing that happens with like a lot of fish. Apparently, it's fairly common, and it can't even pass to humans, like in a different form. But I don't know. I'm not a doctor or medical professional in any way. there's my disclaimer. But she says that the combination of having a surface skimmer and then like a UV filter also really greatly reduces the amount of fish leukemia that could get spread throughout an aquarium, because it tends to gather at the surface like that. And if you can pull things down from the surface and then run them through a UV filter once in a while, you'll kill them off, or you'll sterilize them out. So
you're gonna make me have to look that up. What? I mean,
I'll try to find it and I'll send you a link.
Yeah, because I'm like, now I'm sitting there looking at these like, okay, so how do I know it's in there? Where does it come from? Like, what do they look like when they have it?
Well, it's that, you know, again, I'm not 100% positive. Like, I never do fish diseases, but as a topic on my show. But I think generally they get real skinny, like that wasting kind of disease where they just get really tiny, and sometimes they get really twisted too. Like, I know there's a twisted spine thing, and that's a genetic defect of a different sort. But I think that there's a couple of different things. Like, you can look up images, probably be the best bet for the fish leukemia.
Yeah, you started something.
I did it to get the slime off. I was worried too about any fish that comes to the surface for whatever. I don't want them like having to go through whatever that is, you know, and I want the light to come through for the plants and stuff. So it's good for a lot of different things with the planted tank. So it just gets that gunk off the surface.
A
lot of times I don't agitate the surface enough too, because I want there to be water going pushed past the plants if possible. That circulation really helps a lot.
Okay. What do you think about? Now we're going to no agitation that you said there. What do you think about the tanks, the filterless, pumpless tank?
Like LR Brett's, like LR Brett, he changed me. It was like going. I felt like it was like a religious experience going through his place. It's like, there's no pumps running at any of these. They're just everywhere. I'm going to try one. I'm going to do it Wallstand method. I might even order some dirt from Father Fish. Like, I think he sells some of this dirt additives or whatever. I like a good lasagna substrate. So we did a fish swap recently, and I bought a little, like a 20-gallon tank with nice curved surfaces and stuff. So I'm going to make one of those, a filterless tank, and I'm going to set it up. That's probably, I guess, in the next couple of weeks. I'll probably do my interview series. The next series in that will be coming out, and then I'll work on that while it's coming out. So I'll have a nice video about an aquarium to talk about when it's over. Because people get sick of me talking all the time.
I mean, that's okay. I talk a whole lot. What would be like not setup time. I don't mean like how long would it take to put it together, but for like doing the Wallstand method, how long do you have to wait? You know, it's now I'll consider it to be mature enough to where we can put couple of fish or so in here to try to get this ball rolling. Like, I can't pull the trigger, man. I mean, it's just, it's nerve-wracking to me.
Well, here's what happened with me. So I did a dirted tank. I did a 55, but it wasn't. I bought a pamphlet from Dustin's Fish Tanks store, and I basically did a video following those instructions, and it worked great. But I went overboard on a couple of ingredients. Like, if you look at my videos on it, it's like, well, one, I did too much clay. Like, you could put red clay in the bottom to kind of help, but I didn't really fully understand what the purpose was of the red clay. But there's a couple of different reasons to use it. One is bacteria eats that. like it's a food source. And the other thing is, if you've got red plants, that iron that's inside of the red clay is being pulled to the plants. It's like just a source of food, right? But I put way too much. Like I basically coated the whole bottom in clumpy bits of red clay. Now I use like a powder or something like that. You know, something just a little something for it to eat, not like another layer of substrate of clay. You know, so so then I did my dirt, but I did my dirt like I sifted the dirt out and I pulled the big chunky pieces out. And I think you're supposed to leave those in. Like that's all part of the stuff that's supposed to decompose and rot inside of there and become food. So my dirt was kind of thin on materials. And then my cap could have been more capped. Like I needed more sand on top. And so the combination of those things meant that my aquarium looked great. Like it grew plants like I couldn't believe how well it grew plants for like 7 or 8 months. And I did a trim and pulled some things out and started messing with it, and just the whole thing went to hell and became like this algae. But this is like still a new tank, right? And then but it kind of went on these waves of like being really difficult to deal with and just fine to deal with and difficult. And eventually I got tired of it and I just tore it down. But not because I didn't feel like the method worked. I just could have done it poorly. I wanted to try it again. Like I think I did okay, probably. Like they looked good for a while. But I'd like to do one that lasts for years and years and not 2 years.
I got you. I just go to the creek with a hoe and dig mud out.
Yeah.
Put it in the bottom of my tank and cap it with slight gravel. I have worms in it. I mean, these tanks here have probably been going for 2 years. Let me see if I can show you this one. I mean, if I can learn to keep my hands out of it and leave the plants alone and let them, just let them go. I hate doing the camera thing on here. Come on now, cooperate.
Are you trying to snap it off its stand?
I'm gonna leave it on there. Just flip the camera.
All right.
Okay. If I'll come back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't see anything.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. See, that's when it's telling you shouldn't be doing certain things.
I think it's fun that like my favorite tanks have been, I really start to like them after about a year and a half. Usually that first year and a half with them, it's pretty painful. I think you get a couple of good weeks, like you get a couple of weeks when it's brand new, but it's so empty too. So try to put a little bit of room to grow in a lot of mine because they end up just being these huge jungles at some point.
Actually, trimming them doesn't cause them any issues.
Well, not if you do it correctly. I think I don't like stem plants a whole lot, but they're easy to deal with. You just basically cut them in half and pull up the other end of it and stick the top back down in the substrate. But oh, look at that. See, now Father Fish had talked, he's the first person I'd ever heard about saying just go dig it out of a waterway. Like I think he was talking about a pond or something like that.
The baby convict sitting back there.
Is that a baby convict?
Yeah.
What a cutie. They're little. Are convicts fun to breed? I heard that they like to.
They take the fun out of it. I mean, it's
really?
Yeah, it's like it's nothing. It's nothing to them, man. I don't know. I'm mad at them. It shouldn't be that easy.
So, you just shovel a little bit out of a creek bed. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the side, like coming up to the bank.
Yeah.
Come on, camera. You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, to talk nice to the tech
Yeah,
wizards.
is it my internet going slow? I mean, what's happening? What's going on? But yeah, I just stand on the side. I don't reach all the way out to the middle. I grab that right to the side, coming up to where the plants are.
Right.
And I pull the worms and everybody out of there. And the worms stay for a long time. Like, they just reproduce and my fish eat them. But they'll grow plants. But the water changes. You gotta stay up on it because at first it's hair algae. You see, I kind of like hair algae, which is a plus, but the hair algae will try to
I can
fight
send you some.
Oh no, I have enough.
I've got quite a bit of that.
Man, I'm gonna have to leave this camera flipping alone, man. This is
I think they have a button. I want to get it too. They have a button that'll do a little camera swap.
Okay, here we go. All right. Now I'm gonna leave it alone.
But I don't do live streams a whole lot.
Yeah, you're not guaranteed anything, but you better learn your equipment, and all the possibilities.
How many tanks do you have now?
Right now, and I always have to look. I have a guppy, a mixed guppy fawn outside, and I have 1, 2, 3. I have 5 running right here, and I have 1. So that's 6, and then I have 1 that I don't have anything in yet. I had 11 at one point, but I had to move thanks to
So I just did trimming. I did all my tanks downstairs except my big tank. I skipped it for you, Hank.
Hey.
but
I do it on camera. Oh.
But hey, that would have been a good show, wouldn't it? If I had a little clip-on mic or something like that, or one of those little things like Corey wears, I could just walk around and here I am. I had to do my tank topless, so you probably wouldn't get many views. Get a bunch of people be upset.
Yeah, they'll put strikes on my channel.
I usually just do it on my OnlyFans. But yeah, I have to reach so deep in my 210 that I always get whatever shirt I've got dipped in there. And I'm worried, I don't want the detergents off the shirt and stuff to get in there and start messing with things. So, a lot of times I just need to buy some of those sleeveless shirts. I can't bring myself to do it.
Just get wet. Come on now, you can do it.
But my wife's come home a couple of times. I've been like topless, reaching in the tank, and I'm like, "Hey, is that a work shirt on with long sleeves? You can only roll them up so far, So I'm just like, yeah, yeah. It's just, now I've painted that picture.
Yes,
OnlyFans water changes. Yeah, hey, you got to work that meta.
You can start something. Hey, speaking of the arm and the water getting wet, when the big tank Hank name came about, I had this 60 gallon oceanic with guppies in it. Hey, my arms are long, but so I forever had wet armpits, and then I already had the name, so I used that, but I got rid of the really big tanks.
I tell you, that one's it kind of needs its own day, a water change day, especially if it's giving you a hard time. I'm going to dirt that one. I'm going to do that probably this year. I'm going to get a big 50-gallon, a couple of big 50-gallon garbage cans, and I'm going to load up all the water I can in those and put my fish in there with some air pumps. And then I'm going to just redo that whole big tank. And I probably will dirt it. I'll probably do dirt with a deep sand cap. And I'm going to make it deep enough to where I can get to the bottom of it and clean it.
Yeah, 10-inch dirt.
We're going to try this deep substrate thing,
What does half of your tank? Hey. it will sustain.
It's worked for a lot of people and stuff. Yeah, but my plants are just not doing very well in there, and I just don't think I gave them enough to eat. I think that's got to be the problem. I think once I fix that, then they'll do good. So we'll see.
Okay.
I hope.
Do you gravel back?
A little bit, not a lot. It depends on the substrate. If I have sand in there, I probably will do it a little bit. I've got this one. A lot of people avoid sand substrate because it gets real dirty. Like it gets like the whole top of it's always messy and stuff. I have these gobies, and they do nothing but like dig through the sand and like they really keep it stirred up. And the same for like coolie loaches. I've got 2 tanks with sand in them that always look great, and I was like, oh, that's all. I just needed things that but all they do is they sift through that sand and they go and they bury themselves in it and then they shoot it out, and then you'll see them kind of like grazing through it like they're eating. I don't know what they're eating out of that stuff. It's just like,
hey, they can see it, but we don't. Shooting out through the back of the gills.
Yeah, and they the sand in there looks great. So there must be something to that. The coolie loach tank too, just because they flip out and they're always fanning it and stuff.
Okay. So do they work better in that type of substrate? Yeah, coolie loaches and stuff like that.
Yeah, they like a sand substrate a lot. Seem to. I've got about 4 of them in the steampunk tank, and they all seem super happy in there. The best I can tell. Like I put food in there and they go, yay, and they eat it, and then they all run around, and I'll see them I'll just casually see them like swimming everywhere.
Big J.
They're fun.
Fish Tropic.
Big Shank. So I got some trimmings from my stuff today. Would you like some trimmings for your tanks?
Sure.
After we're done, just give me your address and I'll send you out a little care package.
Hey, that'll work. That'll work. Because I got one. My not Father's Day. Yeah, it is Father's Day. My father, see that tank up there?
Yeah.
That's my Father's Day gift. And it's got 1 fish in it, a lemon tetra, and I'm letting it roll up there, and I'm gonna want to add me some plants in that one up there.
Well, I'm gonna send you a bunch of stem plants and at least one sword and some floating plants.
Okay, that'll work. I gotta go get me some dirt too. I should have did it ahead of the time, but I was kind of in a hurry. You know how it goes. Happy Father's
I do know
Day.
how it goes.
Thank you. You're setting it up already? Yes, I am. No rhyme or reason. I have a tank and I'm gonna put water in it.
You gotta keep them all going. It's like keeping a bread culture alive. Just gotta keep making them. It takes a while for them to mature out and stuff, but you're probably pulling all kinds of really good healthy diverse bacteria and stuff when you bring it from outside like that.
Yeah. And see, my biggest thing when I started doing it was just like, hey, because I always use some aged water, so I'm like, there's no need for me to cycle it. I'm cycled.
Well, yeah. I mean the bacteria is there, but I mean everything has to. There's another thing that happens too. That's where it's normalized. So when I start a new tank, I'll throw in a bunch of it's not artificial bacteria, but we'll say it's dormant bacteria inside of liquid. It comes in the bottles and stuff. All the different bacteria you can add. Some of them seem to work really well, and some of them, I can't tell how they're working. But you sort of artificially increase the amount of bacteria that's there, and if the ammonia is there in the right proportion, that all kinds of the cycle begins this kind of healthy cycle. But sometimes it's like things don't work out, and like it doesn't. You don't get the bacteria bloom that you're hoping for, or something like that, and then the ammonia just persists for days and days and days.
No. Oh well, my fault when I said aged water. I should have said old water, because it's usually like it's like tank water. I've taken it from another tank, during
Right.
my water change, and I add that water in with my dirt.
Oh yeah, that'll help a lot too, because it doesn't have anything in it that would mess up an aquarium.
And then I don't put any fish. That lemon tetra, it's his fault he's up there though.
Is he in jail?
Yeah, because he was over here with my smaller tetras, and I started losing neons, because I have some glow lights in there, and I have some black neons, but my regular neons went to disappearing. So at first I don't know, and then I saw him, like terrorizing.
Oh yeah.
The front of this tank is mine, right here is mine, and I'm beating everybody up, and he was a pretty good size. I mean, he was given to me free at the store when I bought the neons. He was like, "Hey, that one by itself, I'm not really sure what it is." I said, "I think it's lemon tetra," and he's like, "Well, I'll let you have him." Okay, throw him in.
You can have it. We call it Fang.
Yeah, didn't say nothing, right?
Killed its brothers.
Didn't say nothing, just threw him in. Yeah. And then I put him in here, and he was going crazy. So I said, "Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna put you up there. I'm gonna give you a job to do. We're trying to get this tank ready for some other fish. So I'm just gonna let you chill up here with these snails."
That sounds like a good job for a Fang.
I mean, he's chilling. He gets good food.
All I want's the whole tank to myself, okay?
He's chill. He still sits in one corner though. Nobody else is in there, trying to take over anything. He still sits in one corner until I come along. You probably see him over the top of my head periodically.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see him.
Now I'm looking for it. I was like, I see you.
Yeah, I can see it. See him going up. Can you see it?
Yep. I have a puffer that I put in prison. And so if you go behind the 210, like I've got this background on my 210, and it's this it's built on these like risers, so it'll go around the overflows that are in the back of the aquarium. So it's got all these, like, it looks like a roller coaster on the back of it, to hold the thing upright. But there's these voids, and I was like, man, I lost all this space. Like, here's all, there are all these big voids behind there. So I've been putting pothos and stuff, whatever I can, with ugly roots, just put all that stuff in the back and let it kind of grow out back there.
Okay.
So I've discovered that there's periodically there'll be baby rainbows. They make it back there through the little holes, and they kind of grow up back there. And then when they get big enough, they flop over to the other side. So I'll just randomly have a baby rainbow show up in that tank. But I have all these snails also. I have these Malaysian trumpet snails, which is another reason I'd like to just gut the thing and start it over. But there's they're all over the place, and they're all over the back, inside the back there when I flashlight in there and look. So I had this Pea Puffer, and he was giving me a really hard time. Like, he was great for years and years, and then he just started attacking everyone. Like, he was attacking all the other fish, no matter where I put him. He was just like super aggressive. So I didn't want to put him in a little 5-gallon by himself, so I put him behind the background. So he lives in the 210 back there, where all the snails come to live. So he's got like this never-ending like food source.
He's gonna be fat and blind, man.
Well, there's still light in there and everything. It's just because the lights are up above it, so there's light shining down in the back, but it's too narrow for anybody to get back there. So he's like he's got a lot of privacy.
Oh, I thought you was gonna create the first cave puffers.
I could keep some blind cave fish, but the satisfaction would not be as great.
Because you couldn't see them, and you put them in blind. So
it's like, you'll live well for the rest of your life alone.
No, man. So what is in that tank right there over your right shoulder?
What? There it is.
There you go.
That's a little 8-gallon tank, and it's got right now it's just got 3 blue-eyed rainbows. I've got a male and 2 females. And what I'm hoping to do, they're like little tiny tiny rainbows. And they the male looks cool when he's doing his little courtship dance, like
Yeah, look.
little jazz hands, you know? And jazz fins.
Hey, right, jazz fins. There you go.
And so he well, the plan is to just kind of let them go at it, like swim around and do their thing and lay eggs everywhere, then pull them out and put them in another tank. I let them do that over there and then pull them out and like keep going back and forth and see if I can get babies, you know, out of it.
They call magical fish.
Yeah. Or
who brought that
musical fish? Musical fish.
There you go.
Like musical chairs. Yeah. So I was hoping, I was looking for a good, efficient way to do that, but the female's like a little too smart and I can't catch her with a net. So I'm like, I don't want to just stress them out every couple of weeks. So
I'll keep destroying a tank so you can put a big net in. Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to just do like the breeders do and just, you know, get a 20-gallon with like nothing in but a sponge filter and just figure it out that way. You know, a lot of them will put like a grate so the eggs will go down past to where they can get to them and eat them and stuff. And then the eggs kind of hatch down there, but I don't know.
I just saw that done on a video. See, I really like leopard, long fin leopard Danio.
Right.
And
yeah.
Somebody made a video where it was like they actually used a net. I'm not sure if it was their actual fish net because the holes were a little bigger, but they'd have the Danio. You know, they'd be feeding them the live baby brine, and then they would give them another selection of a high quality dry food, you know, getting them prepared. Because they'll breed at like, let's say it's like 4 o'clock in the morning or so, like when the lights first turn on, they'll breed. But they move so fast and their eggs, you know, like don't stand a chance with them. So they have them in that net, you know, at the top quarter of the water, whatever, and the eggs are just dropping through the net. Then you move them to another tank, you know, in that same
just let them do it again.
And let them do it again. Yeah. So then you just leave your eggs in that tank. And I'm thinking about that.
Yeah, I want to do something similar. Like I wonder if I ought to just make like a little living area, like a big sieve or something that sits in the top of the tank. So I could just kind of keep them in there, then pull it out like one big net, and then move it over to another thing.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Like they just live inside this big net inside the aquarium.
I've seen some people make them. What is his name? He's from the Philippines. Dexter's World. And he was breeding the albino koi guppy. And you know, albinos are notorious for eating their babies. So he had built this box. It had legs on it, and it was maybe half. It was half the tank. You know, it was the same size, but it was half.
Right.
And the adults, the breeders lived in the top of it. And you know, that means the babies fell through, you know, through the bottom, and all they had to do was pick it up and move it.
Move them over. Yeah.
Yep.
Then you got a little baby tank.
Tinwini Daniels. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up Tinwini.
I'm not familiar with those.
Let me see.
I just know Teeny Weeny Danios.
I have a dog named Teeny Weeny.
Teeny Weenies. No, lots of other teeny weeny fish.
Teeny weenies and teeny tinies.
Tinies.
Oh, I knew I had to. What I wanted to touch on was Aqua Shella. Your thoughts?
Oh, okay.
Aqua Shella. This new post lockdown Aqua Shella compared to, because I haven't been to any yet, but I'm gonna try to be at Dallas, guys. But compared to your previous experience, and what you think about this?
Well,
Susan.
So I went to the 2019 Aqua Shella, and it was in Chicago, which is so it wasn't. This one was inside of a convention center, and the one in Chicago they had rented out a building, so it's not like you could be at the hotel and stay there, just kind of be in all this enclosed experience, which I like to do for a convention. Like I like it to all be in one place and not have to move around the city and stuff to get, you know, to the show and stuff. I prefer that. And I think they're going to do something like that next year from Schomburg's.
That's the 10 winning.
Oh, yeah? How much is it?
Oh, this is just the YouTube videos.
Oh, it's just a video about it?
They're just the spotted like leopard.
So in 2019 is really cramped. It was like probably really low ceilings. I'm wanting to say they're 9 foot, but I'm kind of tall, so they might be like when you're when you're like 6'2" or so. It's like I guess they're at least 11 foot. Like they weren't very tall. They weren't like stadium tall. You know what I mean? Like really tall. So like the new one. So at this convention center, there's like really really high ceilings, and because of that, there's a lot of air volume inside of a lot of extra air volume inside of the facility. And the other thing is there's all the body heat and everything just kind of tends to linger and go up and rise, and you're actually sitting underneath all of that. So it was really cool all the time. Like I didn't sweat at all. My big hidden secret, it's not a secret. I sweat like crazy. Like any exercise, like if I start working out, I work out just fine, but I sweat a lot. So I was so impressed by the AC in this place. I never sweat even once. Like I was just
okay.
Like they had this whole terrarium and stuff, right? Like that you're just walk around terrarium. It was a really the kind of place you go to, and it's just it's an event. It was kind of like staying at a Disneyland resort or something. Like there was this really interesting thing to do there. And then to go to Aqua where the ceilings were so high, and everything was all spread apart and stuff. Like it was really everything was really distance from one thing to another. In comparison to Chicago, where I think there were just less space to put everyone. So it felt really cramped, especially I had a big camera at the time and I was trying to maneuver through crowds and stuff. I didn't do any of that this time, but with the big camera and the big rig that I usually bring, I didn't bring any of that. And but it was very, very much more open than Chicago was. And it was just the sheer volume of the place. Now, like I've been vaccinated, and Ed and James have both been vaccinated too, the guys that I went down with, and I have I wouldn't get vaccinated unless I thought that worked. So we went down with the principle that we were covered.
Right.
I had heard, like, I didn't know this. I've later heard that wasn't true, but at first I thought we had to have our vaccine card to go, or we'd be under some kind of restrictions and stuff. But then Florida just kind of went, who cares?
Well,
and they threw it all out, and so there was no restrictions anywhere, and literally like all the way, from Tennessee to Florida, the whole way. I didn't see a lot of people with masks on. So
most places they have what they'll tell you. If you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask, but it's like.
But they can't ask if
they can't ask
for your medical stuff. Yeah.
My son works at Starbucks, and he was telling me when they first started doing it. I said, well, okay, so how are they gonna know? He was like, you don't, because I'm vaccinated, but because of the facility that I work, we were like at the first of list. When it started coming out, we were, they were vaccinated, and I'm in a medical unit, so it was all up around my ears at work. I thank God I made it through it unscathed. But yeah, man, I go out now. My wife and I, Father's Day, went out to eat, right? I think we were like the only people in there. It was packed. We were like the only people with masks on. We walk in and it's like, I said, no one in here has on a mask except us. Debating, do I take it off? Do I leave it on? Let's just go to the table and sit down. We know we take it off then. Let's just do that and then see how we feel when we get up.
I think the best advice to any individual is to talk to their doctor and see what they agree on. That's what I did. And he said, well, you've been vaccinated, dumbass. I think it was something like that.
Yeah, oh man, it's just
And then left it at that. And then I was just like, well, that doesn't mean you can't get it, but I guess if you have been, then you have uh the working material that's required to like recover
fight it
from
off.
it, so it's not as bad, maybe.
But see, I was working from the other end of the spectrum. I'm vaccinated. I may not really have to worry about it, but especially where I work, it's always there. So how is it when it gets into my system, can I still give it to someone else? That's the reason I wear a mask. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really worried about me anymore, but I'm like, okay, I'm around it still today, like quite a bit. So I'm like, can I give it to someone else?
Well, I don't. Again, I'm not a medical professional or anything. Do not listen to anything I say. Okay,
Not the
I'll tell you this.
disclaimer.
My understanding was that you're not a carrier once you've been vaccinated, but I could be wrong. But that was my understanding. Now that doesn't mean it couldn't be on a physical item, but there's debate about how well lived something is, depending on a lot of different conditions. Like if you touch a piece of metal and put it in the dark, in the freezing cold, will it live for 1,000 years? I sneeze on the plank of wood, how long is it going to be? I don't know. So I did notice, like, my personal opinion, if someone wants to wear a mask, I full power, you do whatever makes you feel like what you need to do to feel good about life and how you're doing. So I could completely understand not wanting to take something home, especially when you're at work and you're dealing with things that are unpleasant.
Yeah,
you don't want to bring that.
Part of my issue. Part of the issue that I had, when I told you that I had anxiety so bad early on to where I couldn't go to work for 2 months, because I ended up finding out that I had some close co-workers that came down, with it. I mean, when I say close co-workers, I mean, close co-workers.
Yeah.
One of them actually died, and there was like 4 others. We was waiting to recover, and my captain like accidentally, told me, which that should have been something we knew already. But she was like, yeah, we only had 2 people to return, that were recovering from COVID. So I'm like, who? And then she told me, I'm like, oh no. And my psyche, I get dressed, drive the 45 minutes to work, get in the parking lot. Uncontrollable tears. I mean, I went through it.
That's scary.
And I sat at the house for 2 months. A psychologist first, then a psychiatrist. And they gave me some first level medication. I say first level in the sense of non-opioid, not habit forming. It was just basically, it was almost like Benadryl,
Really?
It was almost like Benadryl. And he was like, it basically takes the edge off. That was the way he described it. Okay. So like people get hives because of, anxiety and stuff. It takes the edge off. It's just a relaxer. So I may have taken it a couple of weeks, because my thing is, I was like, all I needed to do was get inside of my department in the facility, and I was going to be fine. It was the making it through the gate and walking through the rest of the facility that got me. I was like, if I get to my department, if I get there, enough days, I'm gonna be okay, because I'm gonna get back used to, the process, of my actual job. But it took me a minute to just get past the parking lot.
That's terrible.
Yeah, so then that gives me that part. I'm like, okay, I did that, and I came home, and I think it was part of like my people here at the house. I don't want to go there and bring it back to them, and they're my responsibility, and all of it, just it landslided on me. So I was like, hey, I'll sit at the house and sit in live streams all day, and it worked for me.
Did you feel better? Did that help a lot? Like having a redirect like that?
Yeah, it actually did.
Well, it's funny because keeping fish is sort of this hermit's hobby, And then YouTube has changed that. And then, so now I feel like there's this sort of hybrid hobby of YouTube fish keeping, where you're talking about your experience with the world, either on live streams with other people or just making videos, and all the different ways you can share your experience, even on Instagram or Twitch or whatever the kids are on now. But so I'm glad that helped you. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? It can be sort of this all-encompassing thing where you well, I don't know. It's been like 13 years I've been on here, just kind of sharing my stories. It started with roller derby. Like some of my early videos, I was interviewing our roller derby team.
Oh, okay.
They were really interesting gals. I thought they were really neat. So yeah, I talked to them and I filmed a couple of roller derby matches and put them to music and stuff. And then I did a fluval speck video and it did super well. Like one of the early ones, the little 2-gallon fluval speck video. And for some reason it did really well. And after that, every time I did a fluval video, it would do a little bit better. I kind of went away from aquariums for a summer and I did a bunch of steampunk conventions and stuff like that. And people hated that, but I soon learned that people kind of want one thing from your channel, and that's to be like whatever it is that they're looking for. Like people are so specific about their channels. PECKTEC, what is the art above the lamp? Looks like Pink Floydish. Oh, above the lamp. So let's see if I can do it. Right there. That's a board game called Canvas. It's actually a board game, but it's called Canvas, and the theme is that you're painting this beautiful painting, and so it hangs up on the wall like a painting. Is kind of the trick to it. I have a board game channel called PECKTEC Games, and I actually I did a little review on it, and it's really fun. On the other side of me, like over here, this is a band called the Peculiar Pretzelmen that I filmed once. But yeah, it's really fun. In that game, you pull these little translucent pieces of plastic, and you take 3 of them. They each have a picture on them, so they overlay in these interesting ways. And you try to match patterns and stuff to get points. And it's fun. It's a fun little game.
All right, I just there we go. PECKTEC Games, so I can check that out.
Yep, there I am. I'm a big nerd. And I love board games. I love board games almost as much as I like aquariums. I talk about them to whoever's unfortunate enough to ask me about it.
Hey, we all got to have something else. I, unfortunately, right now, don't have anything else but fish. I used to. Starting July 1st, I go back to the gym.
Oh, yeah?
I haven't lifted a weight in like a year.
You doing anything else? You doing like push-ups and stuff?
I live upstairs, and I walk 10 hours a day at my job.
Yeah. I stand up all the time.
Yes, I walk circles for 10 hours at my job.
So I've been working from home since August, and I work for a theater company in their IT department. So but we've been working from home, and you had this tendency, like when you're already at home and stuff, like you don't have to move a whole lot. Like you can bring a whole snack bar and set it up next to your office if you want. You know what I mean? So so I got in this routine where at lunch I would do a workout, and so I hit my 49 hit at August 17th last year, and I was like, you know what, I've got to get back in shape. I used to be in really good shape before YouTube. Like I was in the CrossFit and all that madness and stuff, and I hurt myself.
What?
Yeah,
I was just going to say, CrossFit, man, I could never do it because I was afraid of hurting myself.
Well, I did. You can't do that many pull-ups. I mean, I'm not an animal, you know. So I messed up both my shoulders and I couldn't do anything. But I used to get up at 5 a.m. and I get on the Bowflex and I do the Bowflex workouts and stuff, and I do something aerobic. I was really going for it for a long time, and I got really fit. But doing good, Carrie. Thank you.
How you doing, Carrie? Welcome. Where you been?
But I've been doing so lately I decided I want to get back in shape, and I've been doing these. I've got these little weights. I do my routine. I was talking to Teswana Tanks at Aqua and asking him about push-ups. Like, can you do push-ups every day? So it feels like it really hurts. It's like you do like 100. I'm like, no, I do like 30.
Oh man. Yeah, you can do them every day.
I'm going for Farmer Street. Where it's just like I exercised with my regular work all the time. So I could work out every day, but it's just not a lot.
I can say, though, you can get a good foundation built. Like a pull-up is probably the hardest exercise to do. And I was doing pull-ups at 275, almost 300 pounds, sets of 10. And 2 days ago, I did some pull-ups at work, and it surprised me because I hadn't done a pull-up in like 2 years. And I did about 10 straight,
Wow.
pull-ups, and I'm like, hey, okay, I guess it does still hang around a little bit.
Well, good.
And I'm 260 now, so,
I'm up to almost 50 push-ups a day, but I don't do just the push-ups. Like I'll do like 15, and then I'll do I have a whole routine. It lasts about 30 minutes. If I do the routine 3 times, then it lasts about 30 minutes or so. And I call that my workout for the day.
Okay.
I'm sore all the time, so I feel like things are happening. And I'm like, oh man, I got muscles, and then I look down. I'm like, oh, not yet. I still look like I could.
Letting you know they're in there.
Yeah, still kind of look like I could feed a child or something with these things, but I'm not a PECKTEC yet. I don't think I can claim that title yet.
Hey, how much TV do you watch?
Well, I'll watch like specials. Like I like the Marvel specials, like Loki and stuff like that. But I don't. Is there a show you like?
No, the reason I ask is because what I used to do is commercial breaks. I would do push-ups through commercial breaks.
Really?
Not count your push-ups. Commercial push-ups through the whole commercial. Get up, watch your show, commercial push-ups, and you'll be surprised. I mean, I've gotten over 200 push-ups. You're gonna count every now and then. I've gotten over 200 push-ups, like during an episode of a show. It's like workout done, and you.
Oh yeah. That's quite a workout. That would probably kill me. So when you hear that I've passed, and they tell you why, we don't know what. I guess he was. We found him on the floor in front of the TV. I think it was.
Oh
it was
no!
CBS that killed him. There weren't too many ads.
Hey, okay. As long as they blame the TV, don't blame me. I think Hank told him on the live stream to do push-ups. Here the commercial break.
I think they got a bad idea on the internet. I don't know. Maybe I could do more than I think I can. Like always, like, oh, there's no more I can do. And then I do 10 more, and it's like, oh, I guess I'll see if that hurts tomorrow.
Yeah, no, when you hit that wall, you're not exhausted yet. It's all mental. You've hit the pain, you heightened pain threshold, and the muscle starts to get tight, and all these things come together, and it tells your brain you have to stop or you're going to be injured. No, it means you're just going to get stronger. So if you just remember you can keep going, oh yeah, you got double probably what you just did. You can probably do that all over again, and then maybe again, and then maybe again. It's always your body trying to save your life, not knowing that you're actually doing something to help your life.
You're gonna die. You should stop.
What are you doing? We need a Twinkie stat.
Zen Ginger. Yeah, the Titanic with commercials.
Hey,
I was thinking like the original Dune that came out was like 3 hours long, or Gone with the Wind.
if you can sue McDonald's for hot coffee, I think you can sue the makers of any one of those shows because they have too many commercials. Hurt myself doing push-ups during that commercial breaks. Lawsuit.
That is so funny. It's cool to have little workout things like that though. I think even if you just want to walk all the time, I'm having to kind of baby step it back in. It's amazing. Like it gets out of your routine and you just get so lazy. Yeah. I do. I get really lazy.
No, it's human nature. You have those people that are really obsessed, and it's like, man, I work out, but you're crazy.
Yeah.
You have those guys, and then you have the regular world where it's like, okay, I've gotten into the habit. It's a part of my mainframe, my everyday. I'm fine. Then you get out of the habit, and it's like you've replaced it with something else. You don't want to turn whatever that something else loose,
I gotta get plugged back in. Like I used to be, I'm pretty myopic about stuff. Like if I like something a lot, like I just, I'm in there on it. And that's the way I was at one point. But it's like there's so many other things now, and I like to edit video. You don't usually do that standing up or anything, and I like to paint little miniature army men. That's a sitting down thing. I mean, I could probably figure it out, but I'd look funny, like a little cart full of paints and stuff, walking around my neighborhood. Hey, but like everything I do is like I'm sitting down, so I'm having to find things like reasons for PECKTEC to move around, to get around.
So did you just hit an acoustic guitar?
Huh?
Rico Stan, what's going on?
No, I hit my microphone stand and it's got little springs in it. So it's like, ching.
Oh my goodness. Hey, we've hit the hour mark and then some.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I got to go and do my little side hustle for the rest of the day. Hey, if you're ever in the Houston area, people, call and use DoorDash, and I'll probably drop off your food. Hey, I'm here to tell y'all, it's a very cool, I found it to be a very cool little side hustle, like to ride around and look at stuff. And I'm through my Cash App, I am investing in DoorDash stock because I get a chance to see how it's rising. It was Uber Eats, and it seems to be going past Uber Eats. So I'm buying my $1 stock. I'm up to $5 now.
That's cool.
Oh,
I would be honored to have a something dashed to my door by you. Thank you. If you're in Texas, you definitely need to try it out.
Hey, I bet it's against the rules, but I think I'm gonna start sliding a sticker or card, into people's food, YouTube, Big Tech Bank, YouTube.
I made a bunch of PECKTEC cards, PECKTEC on YouTube cards, and I would slide them into Fluval Flexes and Fluval Spec boxes at the store. So I just got a PetSmart. I'll be like, pop, 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 pop.
Hey,
what is this? Oh, he makes videos about that.
Friend of mine who was just in the chat, Jeffrey Watts. When we were discussing, when I told him that I had invited you on, that's the reason he knew about you.
Really?
Fluval videos.
Yeah.
That's how he knew about you. He was like, yeah, man, Fluval Spec. I remember I'm like, okay, I don't know the Fluval side, but do you know the steampunk? That was just my own reason.
That's so funny. Like, yeah, most of my views are probably from the Fluval Flex and the Fluval Spec videos. I think my name being Sean Peck is like S Peck. Like somehow the algorithm just loved the symmetry of the whole thing.
Hey, you know, we can't figure it out. They keep trying to, change up the way the algorithm works, so we don't figure it out. But hey, if you can find that niche, like we did, when they started out the shorts,
right?
And Sand Creek Aquatics 2, that's Nathan's wife, God rest his soul. She made a short about her little dog sleeping, and it went crazy. I think she picked up like 1,000 subs, and I mean, that short
nice.
went crazy. And I know a whole bunch of other people like, hey, where's my dog right now? Hey, come here, buddy. Let me make this short. What did she use?
There's a YouTuber called Angry Brit. Okay, you should look him up. He's made a video about why that works, like with the shorts and stuff. There's another thing that was real popular, and that was all the surveys where you could ask a question and you have all these things to vote on, because every time they interact with something like with that's an interaction. And for things that they're promoting and stuff, they'll put more of them out in the front. So things like shorts just went nuts. Like there are whole channels that just went from 0 to 100,000 subscribers just making shorts and stuff. And I was like, wow.
Didn't work for me. Like, didn't work for me, but yeah.
Like I haven't made one, but it's like, I can't shoot vertical.
Right. Well, no, I can't honestly say, remember I told you, I'm not the fish video guy. Shorts were just up my alley, Oh, for real? Nobody's going to criticize me?
I'll do
45 seconds, there we go. I'm good. I'm
so long-winded, it'd be like, I don't know if I could say something in a minute. I'd have to do something just like scenic and pretty, I guess. You can say a lot in a minute, I guess, if you try.
No, you could. Well, all right. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate
the
it.
Aqua Shop. Oh, man, hey. No, thank you very, 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 very much. And there's a lot of people in here that probably just like I was. Like I say again, I'm a big fan. I'm just a fan, period. When I reach out to people who we feel have substance, on this here fish fam thing, dude. I mean, it's like people seeing movie stars and stuff out in the movie star world. That's not really me, but I mean, this is our realm like that. We have people that we look up to and maybe pattern yourselves after. Just depends on what it is, man. And you're one of those people.
Oh, thank you very much. That's really sweet of you to say.
You're one of those people, man. I'm just here to tell you, I can remember, back when I was sitting at home with my ruptured Achilles 2 years ago when I first found, the fish fam, and there's like a little handful of people, it was PECKTEC, Rachel O'Leary, LR Bretts, Co-op. I mean, you had a little group that you automatically found. Boom, they're throwing at you. Here you go. You were one of those people. I mean, the algorithms were good. They were good for you, because I found you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you expand from that. Hey, who commented on here? What do they have? And then then the world opens up that much wider. But man,
it's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, look at this side of big, it just gets bigger and broader as it goes on too.
Yes. And I try to remember how that worked. Like, I'll put people on here with 50 subscribers, but hey, you've made 3 videos and you look like you really like this. So, hey, you want to come on Friday night?
That's how it starts.
Yeah, I'm gonna let people know you're making videos because I like these 3 videos you made.
Absolutely.
I try to remember that. I try to remember that, man. And however it goes, I like to see people make it on there. Hooks and hammocks, what's going on? Ray Aquatics. Thank y'all for coming through and sitting here and taking this little time out with us, enjoying this moment. I know I'm about to ask him back because there's some stuff that I said I was gonna get to. We never made it because we were kicking it. I
talk a lot.
Hey, I mean, but that's what I like, and that's sad what people that you like about your own show. That's what I like about my own live stream. Just
Yeah,
talk, man. Just talk. And where it goes, that's where it's going. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Aqua
absolutely.
Balls. Hey, I can get you, man. I can get you, Aqua Balls. I'm not even tripping, brother. I'm not even tripping. You're part of my day ones, my little old crew. I had made a little messenger thread, Facebook Messenger. And during the time when I was at home, there was those few people that I actually became close with. Boom, and I stuck them in that thread. And it's still going today. I didn't have a few notifications while I was sitting here talking to you about videos coming out, things going on in their lives, personal lives. It actually became a group of friends. I was talking about those friends. Well, I got YouTube fam with some hearts on them, and those are actual friends.
Yes.
Bob Kayla is one of those people. The Godfather. Hey, you part of the Tennessee Mafia?
I am.
Already.
I can't remember. I can't remember my catchy fish name though.
Tennessee Fish Mafia. We're gonna try to make a Texas Fish Mafia. Zen Ginger, Texas Fish Mafia, stand up. Well, all right, brother. We're gonna get on up out of here. I'm gonna say thank you again. Thank y'all for coming through and checking this out. Hey, Aqua Balls, hit me in Messenger, man, so we can get something together.
I'm gonna send you some plants.
Hey, I'm gonna hit you.
Yeah, don't forget to give me your address afterwards, and I'll give you some plants. I just clipped them today. I've got them bagged and everything. They're all ready for you.
Okay, we'll do. Hey, y'all be good. I love you. Take care of them fish and love somebody.